the invisible brain robber, why ignoring your hearing is a recipe for dementia. Stop scrolling. Do you feel like you are misplacing your keys more often? Are you struggling to follow conversations in a crowded restaurant? If you are, the solution you are seeking might not be a new nootropic supplement, a complicated diet, or another hour of sleep. The truth is far simpler, yet infinitely more shocking. What if I told you that a seemingly innocent annoyance, something you've been brushing off as just getting old, is actually a condition that is quietly killing your brain cells and putting you on the fast track to dementia? This is not hyperbole. This is the hard science that millions are currently ignoring, and it is a matter of urgent public health. I am an expert on cognitive science and a content creator dedicated to uncovering the health truths everyone misses. For the next few minutes, I'm going to prove to you with rock-solid data that your untreated hearing loss is the single biggest modifiable risk factor for dementia. This is not just about hearing the television better, this is about saving your mind. Let us dive into the shocking truth. The World Health Organization's alarming secret. Most people fear Alzheimer's disease. They worry about genetics, sugar intake, or high cholesterol. But according to the World Health Organization and leading research from institutions like Johns Hopkins, guess what consistently emerges as the #1 modifiable risk factor for cognitive decline? It is untreated hearing loss. The data is terrifyingly clear. Studies conducted by researchers at Johns Hopkins found that even mild hearing loss doubles your risk of developing dementia. Moderate loss triples the risk, and severe hearing impairment increases the risk by a staggering factor of 5. This is not a casual correlation, it's a profound clinical insight that demands immediate attention. But why? How can a problem with your ears cause your brain to fail? The answer lies in the concept of cognitive load theory. The silent thief, cognitive load theory. Your brain is the most powerful computer in the known universe, but it has a finite amount of processing power, or bandwidth. When you have trouble hearing, the auditory processing centers of your brain have to work overtime, engaging massive mental resources simply to decode the muffled, jumbled, or incomplete sound signals arriving from your ears. Think of your brain running too many heavy applications at once. That precious mental energy, the bandwidth normally reserved for memory consolidation, abstract thinking, planning, and problem solving, is fundamentally stolen and rerouted to the primitive task of deciphering speech. For decades, this constant mental taxing leads to premature cognitive fatigue and, crucially, a lack of resources for the higher-level cognitive centers. If you can't hear a question clearly, you're not focused on formulating a thoughtful answer, you're focused on simply hearing the question. This consistent drain starves the essential regions of your brain of the energy they need to stay sharp. Over time, the damage is measurable, accelerating the clock on cognitive decline. The physical atrophy, use it or lose it. The problem is not just energetic, it's physical. Beyond the cognitive resource drain, there is the devastating phenomenon of sensory deprivation. When you experience hearing loss, the parts of your brain that process sound, primarily the auditory cortex and the temporal lobe, get less and less robust stimulation. It's a classic case of use it or lose it applied to neurology. Magnetic resonance imaging scans of individuals with untreated hearing loss show that areas critical for hearing and memory shrink faster than in those with normal hearing. This is called brain atrophy, and it doesn't stay confined to one region. The lack of input spreads its damage across interconnected networks. You're not just straining your brain, you're allowing physical tissue loss in critical areas because they are not receiving the necessary auditory signals to remain engaged and healthy. This lack of stimulation creates a pathway for the spread of neurological damage, the vicious cycle of isolation and depression. Now, let's talk about the silent killer hiding behind the hearing loss: social isolation and depression. When you can't follow a conversation, you inevitably stop trying. The exhaustion and frustration of asking, "What did you say?" constantly is simply too much. You start declining invitations to restaurants, family gatherings, and social groups. This self-imposed isolation is a recognized breeding ground for clinical depression and is another direct pathway to accelerated cognitive decline. Humans are social creatures. Our brains thrive on complex, varied social interaction. When you withdraw, your brain is deprived of this essential high-level stimulation that keeps neurons firing and networks strong. The loop is vicious and unforgiving. Hearing loss causes isolation. Isolation causes depression, and both are profound accelerators of the decline toward dementia. This is not just about hearing the plot of a movie, it's about the vital social and neurological connections you lose. The cognitive shield, the solution, and the proof. This is the good news. Unlike many other dementia risk factors, this one is profoundly modifiable, and the solution is scientifically proven to work. Studies demonstrate that people who treat their hearing loss with hearing aids significantly slow down the rate of cognitive decline. Why? Because the hearing aid acts as a cognitive shield. They offload the strenuous decoding work from your brain. They send clear, properly processed sound, immediately freeing up the mental energy that was being wasted on straining to hear. This intervention delivers a double benefit. Reduces cognitive load, your brain's executive and memory centers get their energy back. Increases auditory stimulation, those shrinking auditory pathways are stimulated once more to help combat atrophy. Reconnect socially, you feel confident joining conversations again, immediately reversing the trend of isolation and depression. You don't just protect your brain from atrophy, you simultaneously regain your life. You can hear your loved ones, laugh at the dinner table, and feel connected again. You're treating two of the biggest fears of aging with a single, simple action. The urgent call to action. I know what you might be thinking, this stigma. People think hearing aids are bulky or only for really old people. You need to get over that stigma immediately. The newest devices are virtually invisible, sleeker and more discreet than the earbuds you wear for music. You wouldn't hesitate to wear glasses to protect your vision. Why hesitate to protect your brain? The cost of a modern hearing aid is nothing compared to the devastating, incalculable cost of losing your memory and your independence to dementia. Your homework from this video is simple and urgent. You need to book a comprehensive hearing test today. Don't wait until next month. A professional audiologist will map your hearing profile and give you the precise data that you need to protect your future cognitive health. Don't wait for your family to tell you you're turning up the television too loud. By then, the cognitive load has already taken its dangerous, silent toll. To summarize the science, untreated hearing loss steals your brain's energy, leads to atrophy in memory regions, and drives crippling isolation. Treating it with a modern hearing aid is a cognitive shield that can literally change your health trajectory. Hit the like button if this science shocked you, and subscribe for more brain-saving health truths. Now go book that appointment and save your mind.